Welcome back to a brand new episode of the Tandem Talk Show. I'm your host, Coach G, and today we have a very exciting episode with another amazing client here at Tandem Nutrition. This client has lost over 28 pounds throughout the Metabolic Reset System. What's really awesome about her story is that for years leading up to this point, she's tried many other diets, including Weight Watchers and Keto. And while these different diets worked, they were never the long-term solution for her. And what's truly amazing about this person's journey is that she's not only lost over 28 pounds, but she's now eating more calories than before. She's working out and she's maintained her weight loss. So I'm so excited to introduce to you today, Kerri from our Metabolic Reset System and our coaching program. Kerri, how are you doing today?
I am doing very well. Good afternoon to you as well.
Thank you, Kerri. Really excited to have you on the podcast today. I know that I've been following your journey since you joined us 4 to 5 months ago, and I have some questions I would love to ask you because, like I mentioned in the intro, you had such an amazing journey, even up to this point. So I would love the listeners to kind of learn more about what dieting was like for you, maybe before you joined the program, and how you kind of saw weight loss as you're working towards your goals.
Absolutely. So prior to Tandem, I did Weight Watchers, I did keto, and it was really more about dieting rather than a lifestyle change. It was restrictive in my mind. It was always what I couldn't have rather than approaching food as more of a tool to help in my health journey. I think I failed many times and I wasn't able to maintain because once I was done, in my mind, the restrictions were lifted and I just kind of went back to doing the same thing as I always had done before, which obviously didn't work.
So it sounds like throughout those programs, you had lost some weight and you maybe kind of gave up a few things. But once you were done, that kind of weight came back over time. Is that right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep.
One thing, Kerri, that I remember from our first call together, I asked you two foods that you could not live without and that you want to make sure that was included in your program. Do you remember what those two foods were?
Yes, they were pasta and pizza.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. Throughout your program, did you have pasta and pizza as you lost
I
this?
absolutely did. Amelia, my coach, actually, the very first week when she set up my program, offered me different recipes with pasta and pizza in them. So I was very excited and they were very good and very fulfilling. So it was great.
That is awesome. So I have to ask, when you were having pasta and pizza throughout your fat loss phases and even maybe the metabolic reset phase, were you kind of surprised that you were still able to lose weight despite having these foods?
I was shocked, actually. I was scared to get on the scale the next morning and I would get on the scale and I'm still lost. So I was like, okay, this really does work.
I love that. And what's really cool is I was going over your chart. You not only lost 28 pounds throughout your fat loss phase, but now you just finished up the metabolic reset phase as well. Is that right?
Yes, I did.
What was that phase like for you?
It was awesome, but scary. I was at 1,200 calories when I finished my fat loss phase. So when they started adding my calories back in, I truly expected to see the scale go up. And I actually continued to go down 1 or 2 pounds and then just continued to maintain. So I was eating again and still losing or still maintaining. So it was a shock to me, I think, but it was really exciting.
You did amazing throughout this phase, Kerri. You really did. I saw that Amelia was able to increase her calories by around 400 or 500 calories per day.
Absolutely. Yes.
And you either maintain your weight from your fat loss phase or you dropped another pound or two. Is that right?
Yes, that is correct.
So, let me ask you this. I know that you tried to Weight Watchers in the past and like keto and things. In addition to having those restrictions kind of lifted before you joined the program, like having pizza and pasta, how big of an effect do you feel like the metabolic reset phase had for you in keeping the weight that you lost off?
I think it had a huge impact because I didn't feel like I was doing something wrong. I was able to add those calories back in. It actually gave me more energy. So I wanted to walk more and do more weight training. So I think that metabolic reset was just a completely different approach once you lost the weight.
Absolutely. And for those who are listening, what Kerri is referring to and what we're chatting about is the diet after the diet. So, like, what so many diets consist of is just like the diet phase or the fat loss phase. And what Kerri so successfully did and what's inside our metabolic reset system is that second phase called the metabolic reset phase. And so, in this phase, it's so important. In fact, as a dietitian, I've learned that someone's ability to keep weight off has more to do with what to do after a fat loss phase, more so than what to do during it. Because as you probably know, when we try to diet and lose weight, there's changes to our metabolism. And over time, that can make it hard to lose weight. So if we can increase calories strategically, and even sometimes lowering cardio or steps, that can help us keep that weight off for good. And it sounds like you're eating more than before. You've potentially even reduced steps or cardio too. Is that right, Kerri?
Well, she's reduced them, but I continue to exceed. And I have energy, so I don't just want to sit. I think that metabolic reset has kind of changed that mindset too. I mean, I want to move, puttering or outside playing with the dog or outside playing with the grandchildren or going for an extra walk a day. So I think that's what's really helped me. I do want to add, I think another thing about this whole program is it set you up for success. And what I mean by that is I'm a perfectionist. So if I messed up one day, that meant you just give up. I'm done. I'm not doing it anymore. And I don't want the listeners to think that this journey was absolute perfection because I did have some days where I failed greatly. But I think through the conversations that we have throughout the week and telling on myself to my coach, who would say to me, just enjoy today. Tomorrow's a new day and everybody goes through it. So I didn't feel like if I messed up, if that's what you want to call it, that I was going to completely fail.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing that, Kerri. And it sounds like maybe in the past you'd have, which is so common, even I sometimes have this too, is like the all or nothing mindset,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Can really
Absolutely.
get to us. And would you say that was a big maybe component of why in the past, why it was really tough to maybe lose and keep off the weight that you were trying to?
Yes, because I think when I would mess up, then that would just lead to more overeating rather than saying, okay, you had a day where you ate more than you should have. So tomorrow, just get right back at it.
I love how honest you are because sometimes it's very hard to admit the days that are maybe really hard or that we messed up. And it sounds like the coaching process, especially Amelia, was a big part of you being consistent, not being too hard on yourself, and also just kind of giving yourself grace as well.
I used to start my conversation when I sent her a message with confession is good for the soul. So here's what I did. And then she would look at my logging for the day. She goes, I don't think you did that, Terry. But in my mind, I did because it was half a bag of popcorn rather than a cup and a half of popcorn or whatever I ate. So for me, I think it really changed my mindset.
And sometimes you having someone in your corner to kind of talk you off the ledge or say, hey, you didn't really do that bad, and define what kind of bad is too. Because in terms of dieting, right, bad is it's not a term I love, right? Because when you look at your numbers and maybe averages and the bigger picture, then it takes a lot of work to really.
You don't mess up just by having one bad day. It's really everything that you've done overall that makes you successful. And I think that's a better way to look at it. It's not, I don't think I just looked at the end goal anymore. This is going to be I want to set myself up for success forever, not just to get to that goal and then say, okay, let's just go back to doing what we did before.
Right. It sounds like too, like before you joined the program, that's how dieting was like for you. It sounds like sometimes like doing what you can do to lose the weight, then not really thinking too far and about like long-term success. Is that kind of like where your mindset was?
Absolutely. And I also never had anyone that taught me about weight training or how much steps matter. Walking is like an addiction for me now, but it is amazing to me that more movement that you have, the better that you do.
That's one thing I'm so pumped to hear, Kerri, is that you are kind of brand new to weight training. And I think a lot of women, when they hear weight training, at least from my conversations, they hear like, hey, an hour in the gym 5 days a week. But what was weight training like for you?
I do it at home in my living room. And I think I started out with 3-pound weights and just gradually increased them. And every week or every time she would give me a new program, it became a little bit harder. If it wasn't something I could do, we swapped it out. I was honest about that because I'm not a young chicken anymore. So being able to have that weight training that met my lifestyle was really great. And I went away on a spa weekend this weekend and even went down in the gym and still did my weight training for the day. So it was awesome.
That is incredible. Look at
Yeah.
so even like maintaining consistency throughout different or fun times. And I love to how you were able to weight train in your living room with just some dumbbells. And so if someone were to come to you and say, hey, listen, there's no way that or the only way to lose weight is by doing a lot of cardio and by going to the gym for an hour, like 6 days a week, what would you say to that?
I would tell them they're setting themselves up for failure because there is a way to do it, a healthy way. And you can weight train and you can walk. You don't need to necessarily do any other cardio. Those two things together will set you up for success.
I'm so glad you found so much success throughout the program with weight training and walking and with through Coach Amelia as well. Speaking of your Coach Amelia, big shout out to her, of course.
Yes.
What would you say, kind of just looking back on your program? I know you're in intuitive eating right now, but if you had to narrow down maybe the top 2 or 3 things that you would say, hey, these things are like the biggest things that led me to achieve the success that I did, what would you name those top 2 or 3 things to be?
I think so. The first one was like out of the gate, right? When I met with you guys and you said, we'll send you your program, we'll get everything set up for you. I honestly thought I was going to see like 1,200 calories a day and 10,000 steps. So
Ooh.
I had already in my mind set myself up that this was going to be a long, hard, arduous journey. And I got 1,600 calories a day and 6,500 steps a day. And I was like, but I did. I started losing right away. So I think
Love that.
that approach, having someone that can set things up for you, explain to you why it is the way that it is, that was huge for me. The check-ins every week. So we check in on Sunday and Thursday, going over my results so that you can see it in front of you. That was huge. And just having someone there to encourage you when you feel like you want to give up. And they can make you see it much differently than what you're seeing it in front of you.
Kerri, that is so neat to hear your mindset. I never kind of knew that before you started the program, how in your mind you kind of thought, hey, I'm prepare myself for 1,200 calories a day and 10,000 steps. But when your program was sent to you, it was not at that maybe strict level. So it sounds like we met you where you're at and were able to kind of give you some targets that met your schedule and wasn't too strict. And from that, you started losing weight right away. Is that right?
I think the first week I had weighed in. Well, of course, we weigh every day. So that first week average, I had already lost right out of the gate. And I had a goal to have, I think it was 20 pounds off before my 60th birthday because I was going on a trip. And I reached it 3 weeks before my birthday.
Let's
And
go.
we decided to go even lower, which was a thing. So it was good. Yeah.
Kerri, I'm so wow. So over 20, you hit your goal before, which I heard from the team. I was so excited to hear that. And your transformation is literally unbelievable too. Like I can tell that you lost not only lost body fat, but you've gained so much muscle tone and definition from hitting your protein goals and weight training. So Yeah, really proud of you and all your success. I have to ask, when it comes to like this process and journey, what are some other beliefs you had in the past about dieting or like weight loss that your experience with us having worked with us that broke those and that you no longer believe because of what you did with us?
I have so many people around me that absolutely will tell me carbohydrates, no carbs. You can't have carbs. If you're going to lose weight, you can't have carbs. That is not true. I ate carbs. I love bread. So I did have bread every day. I think learning how to front load with protein and understanding that how much protein really helps you with your hunger and your strength, that was a huge thing for me. I didn't understand it before. Understanding what carbs can do to your scale or water or lack of sleep, all those things I never understood before. So it was really, this is an investment in my life. I invested when I wanted to retire. And so now I'm retired. So this is an investment in me, not anyone else, so that I can be happy and healthy going forward.
And when you say investment into you, can you tell us more about what you mean by that specifically?
I previously, when I lost weight, I was probably doing it for other people. I wanted to look good for my spouse or for my children, or felt like I needed to look a certain way for my job because I had a professional career. But I didn't do it for me. I wasn't in it for necessarily the health reasons or feeling better about myself. And this time, this was just for me. I wasn't doing it for anyone else.
That's incredible, and definitely not maybe an easy place to get to and to understand like, hey, this is something that I want to do for me specifically and not worry about what maybe other people think. And the fact that I'm just really excited that you've lost the 28 pounds that you did. You've re-increased your metabolism. So you kind of reset your metabolism through that metabolic reset phase. And you're on the track record of keeping this weight off for good, which is so exciting. And last question I have for you, Kerri, is, if there was someone listening to this podcast today, maybe they're in the shoes that you were in before you in the program, trying Weight Watchers, maybe Optavia, Keto, or even like considering, this is so common too, maybe considering, hey, nothing else has worked for me. I'm going to give in and go for maybe the shot, right? Like a
I
GLP-1.
did that. Don't do it.
You know what?
I
Can you
did the shot. Yeah. I got very, very sick on it. My digestive system was destroyed during that time. And when I went off it, my rebound eating was 3 times worse than it was prior to the shot.
I was not aware of that, Kerri. So you tried the
Yeah.
shot, you got
I
sick,
got very sick. Yeah.
and then you kind of gain weight. When you say rebound eating, do you mean like your hunger and like weight regain? Is that right?
I gained 14 pounds when I went off the shot, which brought me back to the weight I was at when I called you guys.
Because I can tell on our first call together, you were ready. You were like,
Yes.
listen, I'm ready. Give me the onboarding forms. I'm ready. So I don't think I was aware of that,
Yeah.
actually. That's okay.
So this is what, so I'll share this with you. 60 was a hard age for me. I am a widow of 3 years now. I had retired from a very prestigious job and was turning 60. So I was like, I don't even know who I am apart from those things. This is the year for me. I call it the year of shedding. So the first thing I did was shed the weight. So just an overall development and change for me in my life.
That's incredible. Thank you so much for, I know that you have some golf coming up this weekend.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I'm going to look to drive that ball much further thanks to my weight training. I'm very competitive, so it will be fun.
Before I get to my last question, I do have to ask now, since you kind of said that this is your year of shedding, with you dropping all this weight, what other opportunities or things in life do you think that you're most looking forward to now since you've lost the 28 pounds so successfully as you have?
So I've started to doing a little bit more traveling, doing hiking with my brother and sister-in-law. I want to go sailing, something I've never done before. That's on my bucket list. So I'm going to start trying to do those things that I always wanted to work for, and weight would have held me back from doing that for sure.
A whole bunch of amazing things you have planned, Kerri. That's incredible.
I'm excited.
Especially with the warmer weather coming up for you guys over there on the East Coast. So hopefully that you're able to have a ton of fun playing golf and sailing and doing all the fun things that you mentioned.
Yes, and I have a grandson,
Oh,
so he keeps me extremely busy.
I bet you enjoy your time, especially the newfound energy too, and your time with him as well.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, Kerri, my last question is: if there was a woman listening today, and maybe she tried the shots, or maybe she's considering doing so, and or maybe she just feels like, hey, like nothing. I've tried so many different things, and just nothing will help me, keep off the weight I've lost. What are like maybe two pieces of advice, or what would you share with this woman listening today?
The first thing I would probably tell her is to call and at least talk to you, because when I called, I didn't know anything about the program. So I think that first call really encouraged me. And the second piece of that is it's a program that is going to change your mindset, not just your body, so that you can be successful for the rest of your life.
Wow. Awesome. So it sounds like get ready for like a mindset change and also know that you'll be learning a lot and transforming throughout the entire program as well.
Absolutely.
That is incredible. Well, Kerri, thank you so much for your time today and also for sharing all that you did as well. Is there anything else you want to share with our audience before we wrap up today?
No, I just think this program is wonderful. I will say it's work, but everyone keeps telling me it's hard work, but I honestly don't feel like it was hard. I felt like the program that the coach set up for me was something I could live with and not feel like I was always trying to attain something I couldn't achieve.
We're really happy about the results you achieved and also just really pumped that this is the last diet you'll ever need to do. I know I'll be checking with you in 6 months and maybe even a year and longer than that. So I can't wait to hear about your sustained success throughout the program. So thank you so much for joining us today, Kerri. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed being able to share.
Of course. And for everyone else, thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of the Tandem Talk Show. If you have some questions or want to learn more about our program and if it's a right fit for you, feel free to direct message me on Instagram. You can message me podcast, and I'll be more than happy to book a free call with you to chat more about your goals. But that's it for today's episode. See you guys next time in another episode of the Tandem Talk Show.